That's what we'll do. Okay. Greetings, 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 greetings. Normally we go live at a 3:30 slot. On Tuesdays, I'm trying out a different slot. I would have been here at 3:30 because I like that slot, but I was out and about. So if you have any questions, if you're just new to the station and just signing in, I love to work with people directly and individually to help them achieve whatever their goal orientation is. So if there is something that isn't going quite the way that you would like in your life, and you want to shift how you talk about it, and you're ready to experience something different, we can help change the information on the pattern. So I'm very happy about that. I am looking forward to the possibility of working with people on Tuesday still. And because it is a new time slot, I am waiting to see if anyone does check in for our thing. And I'll probably give it like another minute and then I'll move on, because like there were so many technical difficulties today. And it was just a lot of hurdles. And anytime there's hurdles, it usually lets me know that that's not timed right. It's just not time yet. So I am looking forward to things moving forward in a really good way. And goodness. Well, we're at the 2-minute mark and no one is online. Usually I have people waiting. So that must mean that I did not post it. That's usually what happens. Anyway, super, super cool. And I hope you guys have a great day. I will delete this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining later. Oh, now there's like 2 people. I'm just taking up time. If you have a specific question and you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome to go ahead and ask that question. If you don't have any questions and you want to move on and you want to tune in later, we could do that. But if you don't have a question, I will sign off because I am here to be a service. I'm checking out different times when I have the most interaction so that I can help the most people. And usually what I do is I'll answer a question, and the question provides the shift that you're asking for in order for the subject to change. And the subject changes because the information you're willing to use. Pattern doesn't change. Pattern is going to loop, and loop and loop. And so the idea is that if you have something that you are wanting to bring about and you're not sure if you're in alignment with it, mostly what happens is that, great, give me your question. Mostly what happens is that we're telling ourselves a story that it can't happen, or maybe we're not sure if this is like the right direction, and we have to make a decision. So ask your question. That would be lovely. Your questions can be around anything. All right, I'll just talk till the questions are posted. I'll give it a few minutes. Okay, so how I perceive the world around me is through an energetic lens. It's easier for me. Then that way I don't have to get caught up in people's belief systems. I just get to be an observation more often than not. And I don't have to decipher exactly what the energy frequency is that I am seeing. I do a lot of different practices. I do metaphysical studies, and somebody came and went to like a Reiki class that I have, and they've been to the metaphysical studies, and they've also done the art with me because I do art, spiritual art, which is really cool. Anyway, so I have like all these different ways of bringing through a language to introduce you to energy and how you are the energy, how you are that life force, that animation. You are the cause and effect through your thoughts and your feelings. So when people ask me questions, I can see in that moment from that question in how it is phrased. So the physical aspect of it. Okay. And then I feel into it so that I intuit the energetic aspect of the emotion around it. And then I move into the consciousness of it. Like, how does this apply to consciousness? And where is that in consciousness for this individual? And these are questions that I ask myself, but they're easy questions. We can all ask them. And that's all we're learning, is we're learning how to be a little bit broader than we were at one point, right? And so that gives us a bigger connection to what is. All right. And that's usually what we're doing when we're in change, is we are expanding our field of perception into what could be, into possibility. Can jellyfish? Yes, they can. That's a great question, but yes, there are certain varieties that can. So yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, they can. Great question. Thank you. You're very welcome. All right. Okay. So I guess there aren't any questions that are pertaining to the reason that I'm here. Questions can be anything. And when I said that, I didn't understand I needed to qualify them. And I don't. I really don't. And I like shits and giggles just as much as the next individual. And I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I am a grandma. I am a grandma. Here, I'll start posting some of the comments, right? Okay, there you go. Hello, grandma. Thank you. You know, being a grandma is such a beautiful experience. I can't even begin to explain to you like what you feel when you move into like that generational space. Okay. And it feels like all the promise that you've ever wanted in your life is like in front of you now as a grandparent. And it feels like you're not responsible for it, yet you get to be nurturing and supportive toward whatever the endeavor is for this child, right? And it feels like legacy, like it's going on beyond you, like generational, right? And so you get very careful as a grandparent a lot of times. And so, yeah, being a grandparent is pretty cool. I really like it. We have 12 grandchildren between 4 children. And so it's really, yeah, it's a beautiful life. I love it. So a lot of things that what am I doing and saying? Okay. Well, like right now, okay, I'm just talking. However, you might notice that I fall into like a monotone, like not a monotone. I fall into a cadence, so to speak, because I like how it feels in my body and it relaxes my nervous system. And I just start talking. And so some of my friends say, oh, that's hypnosis. And well, yeah, but all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So I'm hypnotizing myself, you know what I mean? And I'm putting myself into an disassociated space, right? And so we can all do it. We do it every day. We get in the shower, we're thinking of something else, same shit. So yeah, so a lot of times life can be challenging to us. And one of the things that I found that works for me very well is to be able to manage the energetic of it, or the push-pull that I'm feeling and understanding from it, right? And I've created different ways for me to connect to language that reflect what my actual experience is. Like, I read this book when I was really young. It was called Undust the Furniture. And it taught me that we use a lot of language in a very strange way. Like, I'm going to dust the furniture. Well, I'm not going to go and pour a bunch of dust onto the furniture. I'm going to undust the furniture, right? And when we start to use phrasing that is an actual representation of the experience that we're in, if we're calling it a physical experience, it lets it get a little bit more easy for us to, take a bite out of the banquet that we're putting on our plate, basically. And it simplifies. So when we oversimplify our life, it gets easier. And we get to choose what it is that we're deciding to put on our plate every day. And so being more, people call it mindful, be mindful. Be selective. And it is a representation of choice. So if you don't feel like you have choice, right? Yeah, I am a teacher. I am a teacher. I teach a lot of different things, mostly art and metaphysics, a lot of spiritual based things. I'm a minister as well. And nothing is wrapped in a particular religion. And a lot of it is practicing inclusivity. That is a lot of like what my life is learning how to be very inclusive with everything that shows up, because all of it has a place, right? It all has a place and it all belongs from consciousness to manifestation. It's like a oneness thing. So I'm practicing this thing. So I don't kill bugs. I take care of the earth that I'm a part of, and I do my best to do like other things, right? Okay. And mostly adults is what I teach, but I have art classes occasionally for kids, and we are planning on opening our reset lounge to at least one day a month, having it to where like parents who get off work can come and relax and bring their kids. And then we'll have an art component where like they'll be able to do some art over with Manuel and I, and maybe music, because we do teach music at the same time. So there's like all kinds of stuff, you know? And the idea, yes, right? So all of us belong. That's the thing, right? All of us belong. And that's like one of the things that I really want to share with everybody the most. Because when we look at another individual and we see their differences from what we're practicing, it is a perception. It's a valid perception. It's valid, so it becomes our truth. It's not the only truth present. It's not the only truth present. The next in line for that is that you too are practicing something absolutely different than them. So that puts in these two different understandings and these two different meanings into the energy that you're experiencing, and it doesn't make it comfortable. That's why we get uncomfortable, because we're practicing like a vibration, right? So our vibration is like, oh yeah, if I get up and I go to work, I'm going to get paid, and when I come home I'll have a meal, and maybe I have to do this and maybe I have to do that, and that's our vibe, right? And oh, I'm going to go this way, and it's all based in our belief systems, okay? And then maybe somebody else has that same giddy up, but they feel a certain way about it, a different way than maybe you feel, or maybe what they add into it is this kind of intention or that kind of intention. That's when we come together and we're noticing that there is like less similarity. We're just noticing the difference in vibration. We're literally reading frequency, literally doing that. So when we read frequency and we read it from a place of acceptance, we begin to accept ourselves. And that's what we fight against, is accepting ourselves in the situation. We don't fight accepting the other person. we never do that. We usually fight because we're becoming more of who we wish to be, because we do want to be that openness, and we want to feel the safety that we can build into it. And that comes through acceptance of self. If there's things that you don't like about yourself, you're going to notice that in others an awful lot. Right? And if you're noticing things that you don't necessarily care for, then it's just highlighting to you things you're asking yourself to work on. That's it. And, changing the way that you look at the conversation that you're building in your brain and in your mind, right? And then how it feels to you. Those are things that are important, I feel. I think that lets us have a better understanding, right? And an easier way to make a choice rather than feel compelled toward, or we must do, or I have to anyway. And I think that when we feel that, that's what's putting us into this hard aspect of being human. Yeah, ego problems, right? Because we have a preference. Yes, as Buddha. Yes. All right. So the idea is like, what is going to support your sanity? Okay. And that means, okay, so for me, that means, because insanity is repeating the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And I came up with some what I think brilliant languages. And how I look at it is that the patterns are sacred, because that's what sacred geometry is. That's what sacred geometry is to me. It's a pattern that moves into itself. All right. And so it means that it's going to repeat. It's going to keep repeating. Okay. All right. And so after, what'll happen is that depending on the information you put on the pattern, let's say family is your pattern. And maybe what you say to yourself about your family is the information on the pattern. Every single time you move and you go to your family or you have an interaction with your family, it's going to turn out the same. It's going to keep turning out the same over and over and over again. And you're going to feel like you once did over and over and over again. It isn't because you haven't healed. It's not because you haven't healed, done the healing, did the inner work, did the deep shadow work, all that 2020 bullshit all the way to now. It's not because you didn't do that. It's because you keep using the same information, right? And you can literally ask yourself whether or not you feel good about what you're saying to yourself. And if you don't feel good about what you're saying to yourself, then you're not in this beautiful alignment with yourself. So how could you possibly show up, all right, and expect something different? So me and my friend, right, we were talking the other day, and I told her, I said, you know what, because we finally got down to it, and I said, oh, so it's just how you're talking to yourself, because I'm really big about that. And so exactly, it is very much like a Groundhog Day. 100%. Okay. So yes. And that's like what we live. We live our Groundhog Days. Anyway, so I said, why don't you just practice this? Just like on your way to wherever you're going, whatever vibe it is that you would like to experience. Okay. If it's like attached to a person, just say, oh yeah, they're going to be the greatest, most happiest, and they're loving and kind. And I just love when it's like this. And oh, it's so nice. And then when you go there, you're the one who's setting the vibration that you want to enter the experience in. So this is what happens. That's what happens. And it is a trip. It'll do it right in front of your eyes, right in front of your eyes. So if you have a practice where there's things that are maybe not going the way that you would like, right? And like somebody wrote down absolutely in self-sabotage. Okay, yes, correct, right? And we sometimes don't have tools. And so we'll go to coping. And coping means that you're already in the experience. It's very difficult to make a change while you're in the momentum of the choice. Okay? The idea is that like stop, drop, and roll. I learned that in school. So if you're in a situation and it feels a little overwhelmed, just stop, drop, and roll like you're on fire, right? Just stop, drop, and roll. Take a breath, disengage from whatever it is, right? Come back to yourself, basically. Sometimes I'll put my hand on my chest right here, my heart chakra, and I'll think to myself the beauty of myself. And I'll bring the beauty of myself back to me, right? And I'll just center by using the word beauty. You can use a lot of different words to help you, all right? And they don't all have to, look at all the ones that we use that create diminishment, like all the ones that make us feel less than or not enough. We're so afraid to ask the universe to knock itself out to show us what it can provide, right? The God of your understanding that you love so much, right, is willing to give you anything that you desire, all right? And all you have to do is find the worth that sees in you. That's it. And it's there. It's already present. It's already present. And so a lot of us use different words to describe the same thing. Life force energy, universal life force, spirit, energy, akasha, akash, right? There's just like a lot of different words for the same connectivity that we have in consciousness. Our energy is shared. So when you're feeling off, you've usually met or been around somebody who was practicing maybe a different vibration, right? Maybe they were off, but they were trying to hide it. And so they put a smile on their face. It doesn't mean it isn't present, right? And we as humans, our nature is to share our burdens. We're very communal. We're very community driven. So when somebody isn't like doing so well, we want them to feel better. That is us sharing their burden, all right? Because we know how it feels to feel better, okay? So we're adding that as a perspective to the experience. And it is energetic. Everything starts energetic, right? Well, I think so. I think, and therefore it is. I can prove anything I say. I love science because that's what science does, and I get a kick out of science. Kick out of science, because science always starts in theory, right? And then they practice until the result orientation they were aiming for comes through. Yeah. It's the same. It's all the same. All the application of who you are is the same across the board. Rocket scientist, shoe salesman, doesn't really matter. Those are tasks. Those are ways to have the experience of your mind and your heart, right? And how you feel and think about it is your experience. That is your experience, right? Then we have the physical people that don't know how to manage that shit, right? And they think that everybody else needs to do for them. And that's what we're experiencing right now, is a great deal of that. A great deal of people who don't know how to manage their emotions, that don't know how to manage their thoughts, and to treat things in a more communal, inclusive way. And that puts a drain on those that can. All right? That's natural. Because remember, burden shared. Because we want it to be better. Okay? So if we want it to be better, what are some things that we could do to support ourselves? What are some beautiful things that we could do to support ourselves, so that when we come back to this information again, we decide that maybe we want it to be a little bit more like this, maybe a little bit more like this, maybe a little bit more like this, because that's how you make changes. You can fill your plate up at the banquet, but you're not going to eat it all in one bite. You just aren't. So you're going to take a little bite here, a little bite there, and that's how we do life. So let's manage it like we can. It's easier. We're in alignment that way. And little by little, things will begin to change around us, okay? Because we're adding a different perspective, a different vibrational frequency into our experience. And the next component of that is like centrifugal force, right? Right? And centrifugal force is like how our body creates the magnetic, the pull, right? And so we have a velocity, a cycles per second vibrational offering that can be measured. And that's how fast we're spinning. So when you feel like you're spinning out, you literally are. You literally are. So let's see. Got to be a self-scientist to dare. That's right. That's right, because we all start there. We're all very curious. Our curiosity lets us explore energetically that which we're not sure of, or we don't think we have enough awareness about to be satisfied or create satisfaction in our emotional body. Okay? So what happens is that maybe we're seeing something too much and it is starting to feel overwhelming. When we're in that recognition, we become it. We just become whatever the situation is in front of us. And that's why stopping is the most effective. It really is. It's just stopping whatever it is you're doing, thinking, being in the moment. And you move into a relaxed state so that way you can self-regulate your emotional body. And your emotional body has a lot to do with your nervous system and how it regulates and whether or not you can relax it enough to feel safe in the situation. And right now, everything is kind of topsy-turvy, no matter what side of the coin you're on, which is very interesting. I know that some people wanted the playing field to be even, and so now it's getting there, and I don't know what to expect next, other than I would like to lean into peace. Peace of mind, peace for a chance, things like that. So there's a lot of different things that we can do if we practice managing our awareness and sensory experience. And that's our thoughts and our emotions. And because we can articulate our experience to ourselves, that's our cognitive skill, right? And because, right, we can choose what we feel, that's our emotional regulation, okay? And then those are provided by 2 strands of DNA in our body. And that's why we're able to do what we do. And since we have these opportunities, how we spend them becomes very impactful when we slow things down, because we can absolutely just slow down and make less decisions. You can even ask yourself, do I need to make a decision in this? Can I move on? Is this fine? Is this okay? Am I okay with this? Right? And then checking in and saying, well, what's not okay? Is there a safety issue? Things like that. And if there is a safety issue, definitely address it. If not, then try to just be in whatever it is. And that gets a little bit easier. I'm a big proponent of managing your energetic, that's the word I'll use, your emotional, thoughtful self. And to do that, you have to come into recognition, which allows you the embodiment of whatever your practice is and your belief, right? And I think how I translate that is that my belief is my spirituality. It's how I operate. It's the principles I apply. It is how I interact with others. It's everything. It's everything about me. And there isn't anything that I do, think, or feel that isn't. It's just this one big component of mind, body, spirit, basically. And in that, whatever my foundational practice is, whatever my belief system is that connects me in my understanding and my emotional body to the God of my understanding, okay? The God of my understanding. Each of us has our own. Every single person. That's why we're individual. That's why it's called unique. It doesn't mean you have to fight for it. You're already it. What we're learning is to let it be okay. We're just learning to let it be okay that we're different. That we're just all fucking different. Different flavors. Ooh, okay. I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. All right. I love that you have a platform that you feel you can spread your message to and on. All right. I love that this is your belief system and that this is how you connect to the God of your understanding. I am blessed to know that you feel safe to place it here. That lets me feel really good. It means that this is a safe, loving experience that everybody gets to be a part of. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your beliefs. I appreciate it. And somebody else had said, and I don't want to leave without, because I saw it, but I was like, yes, okay, that's fine. Right. Okay, so here we are. So we have this. I'm a Buddhist. I love that. Look at how many different people are in this thread. Doesn't that make your heart open? Doesn't it make you go like this? Wow, there's possibility that we could all come together that way. Here's another one. I'm Muslim. Wow. Just whew. And all of us, look at how many different portions of the world and how we're coming together in this recognition of it's enough. It's enough to be who you are. It's beautiful to be who you are. Your choices are are beautiful. I see them. I see them that way. For me, that's how it works. I'm not here to try to tell you that my beliefs are how you have to be, because that is fucking ridiculous. That's not how I'm going to be. This isn't necessarily a, you know, ooh, okay. Yes. All right. So I have a question, and then after this question, it's 4:30. So I might move on. We'll see. We'll see. It's been a lot of fun, but here we are. Okay. Okay, so here's an energy question. Oh, I love this. Okay, so first I'm going to come back to the question, but here we are, because we're all in recognition and acceptance of one another right now. And it's so beautiful. This inclusivity, you can't have it all over the place unless you practice it. And I practice it everywhere. I practice it everywhere because I want to be accepted. So I have to practice acceptance of all that is, because I'm part of that. I'm in the collective oneness. If I say, well, yeah, I'm okay with this, but not that, then I'm denying part of myself. And that's not what the teachings I've heard or been exposed to say. They say a lot of inclusion, and it's okay. Everybody's all right. Okay, let's go to the. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you guys for making such a beautiful space for us. I appreciate you. Thank you. I feel accepted. I feel loved and held. And that just feels really beautiful. Oh, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to move to the question. So, hi, Lucinda. Can I ask what you sense on my energy field? I'm very curious how you perceive energy and what's going on in mine, so I can shift to my most authentic energy. My name is Angel. Okay. Okay, Angel. So first, when you ask a question, I read it out loud. Everybody gets to feel in to the energy, but also think in to the energy, and then they'll bring it into their physical representation. So that's like how the field works, right? And what I noticed was, when I was coming into your field, that there is more of a highlight on your left side than on your right side. So there's more of a, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how to read that as yet. What I'm thinking is that there's a lot of doing energy. I'm picking up a lot of doing energy. Like I have to, this must, like you're in a very fast-paced aspect. And right now you just took a step back, which is good. All right. So the idea is you're learning to manage your field. I think you're doing very well. I think recognition will be a good tool for you. I think that recognizing when you're practicing two separate vibrations, right? Because that's what this feels like. One feels very separate from the other, right? For me, that's what I'm noticing. So as I notice this energetic separation and I recognize it, then I can feel it in my body, use my body to give me indicators of what I'm experiencing. That will go ahead and tap into, I would say, cellular memory, and it'll bring up where or what I might have experienced before, but not anything other than a frequency. So it'll register in my body as stagnant energy. So right now, what I'm sensing, all right, is that you have some stagnant energy on your lower right abdomen, so in your sacral area, and then on your left back, I would say your scapula, center to scapula, and it goes kind of up like this. There's more energy, stagnant energy there, and a little bit below in back of your solar plexus, so it's on the back. So maybe something that you're unwilling to face, or something that you faced and you want to be over. Could be a lot of these things, right? We can use multiple lenses to look at energy. And so okay, great. And what it is so this is consciousness. We're just in consciousness. Okay. We're in consciousness together. You asked me to join you in your energetic experience. And I said, okay. And then I just moved there with everything that I know how to do. And I just became the vibration so that way I could check them out. Okay. And so you're all excited right now. I feel you all excited because you know that a shift is coming. Now you know a shift is coming. So you're all joyous and there's appreciation and all of that. High vibing energy. This is what it's like to work with me. This is what it's like to work with me, to like slow down and check you out, right? My sweetheart, my sweetheart came to me one day and he had done something for me and it made me just, I don't know, it made me really giddy. So I always have this little thing that reminds me of that same like feeling, right? And so what it was is like he came to me and he shows me something that he did, right? And I go, wow, this is great, this is incredible. And he starts singing to me, I'm incredible, check me out, I'm incredible, check me out, check me out. So oh look, see, and we're just shifting, see, through a story, how the vibration could start to move, right? Okay. And let's say that your left side is wanting to understand what receiving is, and receiving is intuition. That's what it is. So it's acceptance. That's what that is. So you're wondering if you can accept the bounty that you've been working on. Creation energy is in our belly. That's what water is. So I have like a lot of different practices, so many fucking practices. It's ridiculous, but it's helped me read me. And so that's why I share them with others. So let's call that stagnant energy down in your sacral. Okay, let's call it water. Okay. And let's use the rest of your water to balance it. And if you'll just take like your left hand, all right, and put it like in the center of your chest right here, and tell yourself, I love you in your mind, right? To say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And we're just going to move into that vibration of love. Okay. And you're creating it. This is how you do it. And as you create that, acceptance comes. See how that feels? And then begin to tell your body, flow. Flow, move, do, be, flow. And you just keep saying it, and you let your meridians start to create the energetic pathways of movement, right? And you're using the vibration of love, and that's how you get authentic. You choose your vibration. You're authentically nothing. Nobody ever wants to find that fucking shit out, but that's it. Ooh, there we are. Ooh, so there's some warmth. I would say because there's some warmth that maybe, and then there's lots of emotion. So I would say that maybe you have a traveler or two. Okay. And how I perceive that is that I'm trying to use more than my vibration to tell me about my experience. And so this transient energy that has its own pathway, right? And I create these like a gate so that it can continue its path to wherever it chooses, right? And I just open it and I call it the light, and I say, go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. And because through a construct and a recognition, I can allow that energy to just leave my experience. I don't have to fight with it. All right. I can recognize it's there and I can release it so that it isn't. Mastering my universe. And now I'm coming into like ease. I'm feeling a little bit more ease. All right. So as I'm feeling that ease, I'm noticing that I'm pulling myself more into my body. It's me coming into my body. And I didn't know I wasn't in my body. What the heck, right? And so now I'm embodying who I want to be, and I'm using energy I'm choosing, right? And I am, I am. All right. Now, let's say you want to do something optimal with your field, right? Okay. And you want it to be very representational to spaciousness, right? Because first, when you practice inclusivity, you're going to get all kinds of beliefs coming at you. All right. And you have to stay in your neutral aspect so that that way everything can exist along with what you practice. Yes. Now, how you do that, that was good. That was really good. You got it in one. Now, what you do now is because, like, you're right up here now. Okay. There's a lot of, okay. You're creating understanding right now. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think to yourself, all right, I would like my mind to have access to any ideation or possibility or opportunity that would benefit me greatly and nothing more. Better? Okay, great. And what you're doing is you have an intention about a feeling, okay? And when you say those words, it's a meaning. Now, the intention from the thought, which is an understanding, and a meaning from the intuition. The body says, let go, and it goes, there you go. And now everything starts to move in the direction that you would like for it to. You can say things to yourself like, you can use your hands and put them on your heart. I like the heart because I was taught that it's the center of your universe, right? So if it's the center of my universe, I know that it can balance all aspects of my universe. And I can let that belief be something I can accept, right? And then I can just speak to my heart chakra and I can ask that all psychic debris, right, or any kind of remnant energy that isn't flowing optimally, rejuvenatively, lovingly, kindly, exceptionally, be transmuted, right? Transmuted into optimized, loving, kind, easy, comfortable energy. That's it. Wow. Look what you did. Pretty good, huh? And that's what you practice. You just practice doing that occasionally and you'll find yourself understanding that we're very intersectional and we're very transient when it comes to energy. And when we pick energy up, we usually do it from curiosity. So when somebody had mentioned curiosity, I kind of laughed. I laughed because our curious nature is going to take us into the vibration we're not practicing so we can see what it's all about. Okay, that was lovely. All right. Okay. There. Okay. Great experience, right? And it was community because all of us wanted you to feel better, right? All of us, every single person who's on this thread, who dipped in and dipped out, all of us had that same loving want for you. Isn't that great? And that's how we do it. That's how we shift the world. Pinky in the brain. Well, I love you guys, and I hope that you have like the best, the best, the best, the best, the best January. Okay, so let's see. Wow, okay, I totally felt this through this process. Absolutely, the embodiment resonated. Thank you. I know we're on the other side of the shift. Okay. But for understanding's sake, can I ask what the right density was? Oh, you mean what this is, right? Right? Because it's still here, yeah? Right? Okay, I'm going to teach you something. I was waiting for you to reply. Okay? All right. So let's make it up. We make everything up, okay? Let's make it up. Let's make it up. Okay. So we've cleared your field. Your field is really nice. You're in flow. So now you're really going to notice what isn't working. All right. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let's just say, all right, let's just say that whatever this is, because how I sense it is it feels almost like a helmet going like this around your head, right? Like a helmet, right? See how it moved out of your abdomen and came up to where it really is? Okay. So for me, I usually just say, "Oh, it's a helmet. It's an energetic helmet and it's holding all of these things." And so then I so then I so then I say, "Okay, get in the helmet." And then I start to unlock the helmet. Okay? I unlock the helmet and maybe I'm just going to lift the helmet off. And this part I can put into spirit acid. And that I have to grab. Relax. Relax. You're coming back. It's okay. Relax. You're coming back. Relax into your body. Relax, relax. The element of surprise helps me an awful lot. I'm apologizing to you. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right. That's much better. Much, much better. It doesn't matter. You want to know what it was, but it doesn't matter. You're looking for it. Everybody looks for it. It's okay. Keep looking. Keep looking. It's fine. Slowly but surely. There we go. Now you're coming more into your body. Okay. Let's say it was energy that was adverse. All right. And let's say that energy of adversity was a story built around an experience you were having. Maybe the experience you were having was, ooh, I have all this stuff in my sacral. Okay. And maybe every time you didn't feel well, okay, you were like, ooh, it's acting again. It's doing this again. It's doing this again. It's doing this again. Right. So we just layer frequency on it and we keep telling it what it is instead of asking what it is. Like, do I need to know anything about this? Which is a great question. And if you don't need to know anything about it, you could just boop and pull the energy of the frequency boop out of your experience and just say, become little white butterflies of unconditional love. Here is the beauty of energy. It cannot be destroyed or created. It cannot be destroyed or created. So that leaves us manipulation. That's what it leaves us. We don't like that word because we don't want to be manipulated, but we manipulate ourselves all day long. I don't know what you're talking about. So manipulating energy makes it easier for us to get through our life. Right. Okay. So somebody was talking to me the other day and they were saying, oh, I'm so glad you're using this language because when you use spirit language, it makes it very uncomfortable. And I'm like, I know. So if I was to say it in a metaphysical practice, what you were experiencing, I would say that there was like this glob, like a jellyfish glob. Okay. And what I did was I treated it like it was a physical being. Okay. And I just pulled its stuff off, and I lifted it off, and I said, all right, you can go into spirit acid and become whatever is next. And then when I opened up the transition aspect, it was for another set of energy signatures that I'm very aware of, which are spirit, because I do mediumship, right? A lot of times we'll ask for help. We ask for help an awful lot. And what happens is that the collective consciousness sends us resolution 100% of the time. 100% of the time. We don't always pick up on it. We don't always say, oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm so happy that I was listening to consciousness. Currently, people think that's insane, so we don't do it. But that's what we're doing anyway. I love life. Okay. Now, the one that I just grabbed, that was something that I usually call adversity. Sometimes I'll use a word, right? Sometimes I'll use a word that makes people automatically pull away, okay, from the energy. They'll pull their own particular energy away from what the dissonant energy is. So I'll say things like, oh, that might be a demon. See how everybody on it, whoa, I don't want that. Okay. And that's it. See, your mind and how you feel about it is going to create the reaction. Okay. It's going to create the response. And the response is always energetic. So I pay attention to the energetic nature of what's taking place. Then that way we can create and manipulate the field that you want to practice in. And I could teach you. All right. All right. So anyway, so I let all of the spirit energy who came to help you, right? I let it all go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. And there's like another group of energies, and I call them cosmic beings, right? Okay. I call them cosmic beings. All right. And so cosmic beings are everything else. Everything else that is sentient that we've created is in existence. That's as above, so below. That means everything is in existence. And if it's in your mind, if it's in your feelings, if it's in physical, it's all present. All right. And how you read it is up to you. You can read it more physically. You can read it more energetically. You can read it more emotionally, more thoughtfully, but it's up to you how you want to read your experience. And that's what we're doing. We're reading it like a really good book. And I have so many plot twists, and they just bring me lots of pleasure. I love them. All right. And we're mindscaping. Instead of landscaping, we're mindscaping 100% of our experience. So make it a good one. Make it a good one. All right. And at first, if you're in what you are telling yourself is hardship or challenge, or you're in insurmountable odds, there's no way this can work out, then that's what's going to happen. And you will prove yourself right. You will be exactly what you said happened. And that's life. That's really life. Okay. So cosmic beings, I usually think that cosmic beings come, and they come because they heard us from some far off place, maybe in Dragonland or Fairyland or cosmic galactic land or light being land or angelic land or whatever the belief is, right? Because I have to have inclusion. And I know they came because I needed help. I needed some kind of help, and I'm just not recognizing all the information. That's what I call energy. All the information I pulled into my field to try to decipher in my experience. Now I can release it, and I can have a sense of clarity. I can have a sense of peace. I can have a sense of ease. Okay. So what I do now is I go, okay, so all cosmic beings, I get real grateful. Thank you for your service. You may go. Now, what we've been practicing on this thread isn't something we practice all the time, but we've practiced embodiment, feeling, inside our bodies to find out if we had any stagnant energy that wasn't moving the way we'd like for it to. That's what we all have been practicing, which is really good. You guys are doing great. Great. Okay. And that's the other terminology that I use. But energy is energy, right? All right. So let's see. And you're right. That's just made up in your mind. We make everything up. We make up our whole existence. Our whole existence we make up. We make it all up, every last little bit. So why not make it fun? Why not make it good? Why not get others to do the same thing, right? Why not? It's what's happening anyway. And because that's what's happening, when we put ourselves into choice, we can make choices that help other people as well as helping ourselves. We can focus on what we feel is right and true, yet we don't need to. We can focus on being authentic, which is absent from over emotion stimulation and over mental stimulation, over action stimulation, right? When you're not authentic. Authentic is when you're choosing how you want to feel and what you want to think and allowing yourself to show up exactly like that. So you're making it up. We all are. I hope that doesn't break anybody's psyche today. I hope that everyone has a very good week. And I will return next Tuesday. And I guess we'll do kind of more of the same. And I hope that everybody has a spectacular month ahead. And we are still shedding the snake. Wood in my practice is humanity. So it can't be more perfect. Fire in my practice is like the Holy Spirit. You can only imagine what that horse is bringing, right? Isn't that great? You can feel it. But we got to let go of what we think humanity is, because how we're practicing it isn't very inclusive, and we could. And I think that that's what's coming. So I want to be there. I love you guys. Thank you.